All right. Hey, everybody, it's Brett here, and thanks for joining us today for Crypto Mastery class. And got a full house here. We're going to unpack some news, unpack the markets, take a look at what our signals are showing us here today, and dive into some charts as we do every week. So, just kind of getting everything set up here. We'll revisit some older studies, kind of look at what's going on in the markets, and even might even look at XRP. I don't know. The chart is actually looking pretty good, but we'll get to that. And we're still on track here for 150K, 200K Bitcoin here by the end of the year, with some uncertainty along the way. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome everybody. I see some M3 members there, Dr. T, Nathan, Todd. How's it going, everybody? Francisco and Doug, of course. So, all right, you guys. Well, hey, let's go ahead and dive in. Let me get my screen here off of dark mode for some reason. And these things have a mind of their own sometimes. What do you guys like? Dark mode, light mode? Usually we do light mode. All right, we will come back to that. But look at that, XRP inching up there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's not a huge favorite of ours, but you never know. Like I said, I'll trade sheep or goats if I like the chart. All right, let's unpack some news, everybody, and then we'll dive in and read the tea leaves and see what the charts are showing us. Certainly been a volatile week in the markets. We'll get to DeepSeek here in a moment. Whether or not that is a real thing or a nothing burger, it remains to be seen. Markets love to overreact, as we saw. And was watching some videos this morning. Sometimes those big sell-offs and capitulation events are ideal buying opportunities, kind of like that COVID freak out where it tanked. And a couple things to unpack. Arthur Hayes came out yesterday with an article about how 70K Bitcoin in the cards, certainly threw a bit of the proverbial turd in the punch bowl there. So I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how the markets are reacting here today. Of course, we have FOMC tomorrow. So lots going on this week, you guys. Crypto Daybook, America's, not sure who that is. Bitcoin rebounds as DeepSeek concerns. If you didn't hear and you're living under a rock, China just came out and said they have basically replicated OpenAI in a matter of months and with a budget of only $6 million. And some are saying it's as good, if not better, than the multi-billion-dollar or $6 billion that OpenAI is spending, I guess, annually on OpenAI. So also, apparently, it is open source, DeepSeek open source now. So everybody, the number one app on App Store was DeepSeek. Everybody was jumping on the new thing. Why? Because we're wired for novelty and what's new. And of course, the market's overreacted here. So let's just say skim through this here on these news articles. Basically, there's not much on this article here. Let me just jump out of that to go to a Cointelegraph. So yeah, the absence of the panic selling suggests Bitcoin drop below 98K is a short-term blip. We've been hovering around this 100K level, and I was saying for months and months going up into 100K that it would be an epic battle, if for no other reason than that's where the market makers make the most of their money. Kind of like a bear hibernating in the woods. It has to get fat and get all of its energy through that winter. And for the market makers, their winter is the bull market and the bear market because they're on the opposite side of the trade. So a lot of liquidations at these key inflection points, and that was to be as expected. And certainly we're seeing that play out. And we'll see what the charts tell us in a minute. But new administration coming in or is in power here. Lots of bullishness in the market, but these things are never clear, are they? And so while we thought we had green lights all the way around, if you haven't read Arthur Hayes' latest article, I would recommend doing that, talking about some some macroeconomic shenanigans. Certainly, the exiting administration does not want to hand the incoming one all of the cards to have a booming, robust economy. And so the also Jerome Powell still is refusing to kind of step aside. So Arthur essentially talking about the possibility that the new administration has to kind of tank the market a bit to force the hand of the Fed to start reducing rates and printing money again. These things are 3D level chess. and war, game theory at the highest level. So, the best we can do is kind of place our flag where we think things are going, and and be nimble. So I know that's kind of the big picture, but that's what I'm seeing in the marketplace, and and we'll see. So we will revisit that March timeframe and my earlier predictions on kind of where and how fast we go up. There's certainly a strong case for this pullback here this week being the kind of front runner of a major pump, which is normal on these cycles. So January pullback and then a rapid rise and even doubling of price. So of course, many factors. So, as with many things, we go as far as we can see, and from there, we'll be able to see farther. So, this person's saying a drop below 98K short-term blip. Certainly, we're back up above 102, pushing 103K on the 1 hour, 4 hour charts. I'll just hop over there. I've got it on my other screen. On Bitcoin, certainly. Dropped down into an oversold zone and has recovered. And so, watching our trend strength indicator on the 1 hour and specifically the 4 hour has been pretty good at catching the inflection points coming out of the bottom. So I did feel we'd bounce out of that 98K region and was posting that in the M3 group. If you're not in M3 Active Trader, you can find out more at Moonstream. So moonstream.io/M3. That is our highest level group. Many M3 members here. We have a more in-depth class tomorrow, and I highly recommend you check that out if you're just checking this free class out. We do these classes every other Tuesday or so for crypto mastery. But if you like this format, we go a lot deeper in the M3 class with daily chart updates and chat updates in a private group here, which you can see over here, and was dropping some links to some videos and charts here this morning. So anyway, yeah, let's hop back over into the news. We'll get back to the charts. I want to kind of paint the broader picture. You guys know it's a lot like the Russian dolls, where there's the macroeconomic that encompasses the strong sectors, that encompasses the stronger coins, and then within that, there's always many narratives. And so that's kind of where we are. Let's see. I want to get so we're trying to paint the bigger picture here. All right. So, some of this maybe sell the news here, of course, the rampant run up going into the inauguration. Of course, many people thought we'd see Trump pump part due, number two, that is. And so that was priced in, I think, pre-inauguration going into that. So we're seeing a bit of selling pressure coming back in, which has been coincidentally, the news, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. Coincidentally, that DeepMind thing kind of broke yesterday. But now the thing is that was announced on Inauguration Day. I'm not sure why it took so long. It took a full week for this thing to kind of percolate around, and it was DeepMind, and it's called DeepSeek is what it is. Deep fake, DeepSeek, same, so who knows? And and whether or not it's as good, that remains to be seen. But certainly it may shake things up, shook up the stock market, Nvidia, etc. I just as a quick sidebar though, I did post in M3 this morning, interesting video showing that when Bitcoin versus Nvidia starts to break out, then generally Bitcoin rallies very strongly, but alt season's over. So as with many of these indications, and we'll rely on our own studies. I have my own that I'll share with you, but certainly a lot of uncertainty. The only thing certain in these markets is uncertainty. So, we're still waiting to kind of hear about what happens in as far as the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Many states are adopting this. So this is happening. And of course, Michael Strategy, as we call him, came out and bought another $1 billion of Bitcoin, another 10,000 Bitcoin yesterday, and so refuses to throw in the towel. It is zero or hero for him. And, these are all good things. So this is just a matter of time here. We keep hearing about supply shock and when is the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges going to run out. And, it's hard to say. You would think with all this bullishness, we would be heading higher at a rapid pace. But Let's see. Recent shakeout, major panic selling. The reality is, and it's worth noting that this is a Wall Street product now with derivatives, with futures and options and ETFs. So there are reasons for short-term spot price varying, which could be offset by these highly leveraged instruments. So just keep that in mind. And so, anyway, a couple other things. Metaplanet by raising 700 million to buy Bitcoin, kind of a drop in the bucket with as much as MicroStrategy. Of course, that's Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy for short has been stockpiling cash and proposing a $100 billion raise to buy Bitcoin. So every little bit helps. Let's see. Will Bitcoin see a swift reversal? We'll get to our own charts and don't need, let's see. Okay, four count. Don't know who that is. I don't want to go too far in the weeds with the news, you guys. Let's look for meaningful news, see that it might be relevant. Of course, the DeepSeek is the biggest news. Trump executive order raises EU concerns over USD stablecoin dominance. Well, we've been tracking USDT stablecoin dominance, Tether dominance, and I'll show you that. But so I don't want to go too far into the stablecoin narratives. So this is kind of like non-news, nothing really that exciting. Maybe we'll pull up Crypto Panic and see if anything is more timely in the news wires. Let's see. Arizona Senate. Don't care about that. All right. So let's see. What do we have in some real news here? Yeah, ETH buy signal. ETH has been really underperforming a bit. We will look at ETH. Some are suggesting that ETH is going to be a runaway winner, but it's just on the other hand, there's not a lot happening with ETH because the gas fees are just too high. And the real story with ETH are the layer twos that can get it done faster and cheaper and maybe the real winners in the long run. This saying massive ETH buy signal. Let's see what that has to say. And we'll certainly look at it. It's good to be aware of the various different news things and what people, other sets of eyes, although I always rely on my own TA and analysis. So let's see what else. I thought I saw something else in here. It was interesting. Besides ETH, let's see, CFTC. Not a whole lot going on here today. BlackRock boosts Bitcoin holding at 58 billion. So we certainly could look at, and usually we'll look at that tomorrow, the holdings on the various ETFs. So I'll go ahead and pull that up here for us. And market resources, where are the ETF holdings? I can never remember where I have this thing bookmarked because I got so many. And ETF flows, here we go. This is Farside Investors. Let's take a look at here. Certainly some of the, December profit taking was window dressing. The question is, and we did see a huge outflow yesterday with that DeepSeek news scare. So question is, today probably seeing some more buying, but really, yesterday's sell-off was just it was a wash. Was not as much as the buying last Friday. So, and we see huge inflows on all of this. 800 billion. Here's 800 billion. Here's $1 trillion on along the 17th, leading into the election. Of course, trying to front run that. So, ETF flows continue to remain strong across the board, and so no surprise there. Let's see, massive ETH buy signal renews confidence in Ethereum's future. We'll certainly look at that. I don't want to get too far into news and wall of words here for you guys. Record wallet growth. The real story has been Solana, but the question is, can it maintain its growth here? So let's see. I think there's one other thing here I wanted to just take a look at. So we've got BlackRock, yeah, DeepSeek. So $6 million AI. So basically, again, apparently they spent $6 million allegedly, and within 2 months, basically copied OpenAI, reverse engineered this thing somehow, which is kind of awesome, actually. But if it weren't for China being behind it. And, this also here splashing the fortunes of several billionaires. Quite a lot of net worth evaporated yesterday in the stock markets. And so, just proof that there is a lot of under the radar stuff happening out there, and we still are in the wild, wild west. Okay, well, look, guys, I think that's about it for the news. How about that? Let's jump over and look at some charts, shall we? Leading with, and we'll come back to this XRP. I'm not a huge fan of XRP, but I do like this chart. If it weren't for all these sell orders, and we have grown to know, love, and trust these buy, sell, limit order boxes, which of course are our order block detectors. If you're new here and just seeing this for the first time, this is one of our crypto mastery signals where we are visualizing order data on the books. So this is on Coinbase. Because of arbitrage, they're generally pretty much universal across exchanges. And so what we can see here is the heavy concentration of sell orders on XRP, the midpoint right around $3.28. So I'd be watching for this to take out $3.30, $3.40. Certainly this might be a place to start building a position. Our best options are buying in the green order boxes down below. We've had phenomenal success with Solana buying in these order boxes. And I'll come back to that. Sol, when it ran up last week in the inauguration, I had limit buy orders at 222 that I took off because I thought, well, it's not going back there again. I wish I'd left those on because I would have been filled at last yesterday, which key lesson there. Always stick with your initial analysis. Let that play out. Good idea. So let's come back here to this. I did want to just touch on it. And if you're not yet familiar with our indicators, guys, you need to have these if you're trading these markets. You can go to cryptomastery.org/pro to get your hands on our trading signals. And so watch this video. These are the best trading signals I've ever used, and they were built by a 25-year quant engineer and former hedge fund trader and an all-around great guy. Those of you who know Joe, he's he's amazing. And by day builds automated trading system algos on the S&P. But for us, he's built and with in conjunction with us these amazing crypto signals. Of course, some of these are accidental discoveries, like the early reversal indicator and these three here. When they align, they're 90% plus in the direction and highly correlative. And then, of course, some of the new ones like the order block detector are excellent. So if nothing else, just using the order block detector, you could outperform these markets here. And let's see. Yeah, Mike says Chinese government involvement. Sure, using CRES registration. Who's getting all that data? Sure, TikTok, of course. And so, anyway, jumping over here, do check these out, you guys. We'll be covering this today, and we do finally have the new version of the trade success checklist. So if you want to go over to, I'll just give you a direct link so you don't have to opt in for it. It is moonstream.io/free checklist. Okay, so let's do that and pull that up because we'll be using that. Guys, this is we've gamified trading, made it as easy as possible, and which is not easy, but it can be certainly simplified. Go to that link and download this file, and you'll be able to use the interactive gamified version of the checklist here. So let me just show you here. You do have to download it, and because if you just do it in the browser, it does not quite work. So again, download it, and then you come over to this box and open up that way. Okay, so now we can see it's gamified. Got it? Real simple. So quick tutorial. I see some new names in here. By the way, once you download this, we'll be showing some patterns like our early reversal indicator. When you see these, like this green arrow, you would check the box. Imagine that. And down below, you immediately have a trade success score of 1. And if we also see in conjunction with our trend strength indicator, you guessed it, check the box, and now we have a trade success score of 2. Often that's enough for me to start entering a trade, building a position, and then as more of these line up, we call these the 4 horsemen. When we get 4 of them, this is a very strong confluence. Even 3 of them, anything a trade success score of 3 or above, you should be considering strongly entering that trade and then adding to it as the score improves. How much easier can we make this, you guys? And by the way, if you are new here and you're like, well, that's cute, you've got a green arrow, everyone has that. Yeah, no, the actual indicator behind that looks like this, and it was an accidental discovery that I made when we were about to deprecate this oscillator. It was somewhat not useful. But when I noticed a certain pattern, when the oscillator got below 3 and above 20 within 3 time periods, it had a high correlation of going all the way above. Joe overlaid a Keltner channel and some other quant stuff. So, and then I said, Joe, nobody wants to look at that. Can we get it? Just make it turn a green arrow. So sure enough, that is the real, that's what you see. But just understand there's a very powerful indicator behind the scenes, and hence the name, the early reversal indicator, because it's giving us our earliest indication that it's reversing. And we can see that green arrow here on XRP. And so when we start to see these other ones turn higher, then that would be more confluence. These are overbought still on the daily basis. I will talk about somewhat looking at daily, weekly. But these big green boxes here on the ERI Pro is money flow. So jumping around a little bit, but onto the trade success checklist down here, you can see this, these green buy blocks. So in contrast to the lighter green buy blocks, which are buy orders, that's where there's buyers supporting price. These fluorescent green ones are money flow, where there was actual a large volume that bought. So why that's relevant is typically these bigger players will support the price where they came in and bought a lot of them. So these green blocks are, as it says here, these green buy blocks represent increased money flow and buy orders on the order book. So these are orders that have been filled, and that is a stronger signal than basically, slightly stronger signal than limit buy orders, just people that wish to buy there. Okay, so this is part of the ERI Pro. It represents increased demand, and buyers are pushing prices higher, and market makers are marking up price. So we can see these. So these are very strong signals on the weekly time frame. I mean, I do think XRP looks very strong on the weekly time frame, and just looking at this, oftentimes we'll see kind of these mid zones tested, which we kind of saw already on the weekly time frame. So it's looking pretty good. I'm not ready to put a buy limit order or buy order out on XRP. That has the company itself has some question marks. The owners own a large percentage of it. And there's, is Ripple Labs is not necessarily the same company as XRP token. So, however, if this starts breaking $3.30, $3.40, in fact, I'm going to set alerts on this, buying in the momentum on these as part of our swing trading strategy. That's mostly what we do in the M3 active trader class. Again, you go to moonstream.io/M3 to learn more about that, because we've got something for everybody. And that is, I'll just put that in the chat. Guys, and this is the time to be getting in these classes. This Tuesday class is kind of a freebie preview of what we deep dive into on the classes on Wednesday, where I am giving trade picks and daily commentary and videos in there, and a great community. And then for this class here, also to show you guys how to use the different indicators. So anyway, and give you some alpha here along the way. We'll talk about this here, USDT dominance. Not much going on there. Maybe we'll save that for M3 class tomorrow. All right, you guys, let's jump over to Bitcoin. And let's see, I'll go to my master list here. We'll look at total market cap briefly. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to chat in the chat box there. So, look, I've had this zigzag drawn for some time now, and the power of the zigzag here, we have our market cycle lows noted on these. So these have been pretty good in foretelling when bounces should happen. This is part of our market cycles secrets class. So the next cycle low, however, it's hard to say. I was watching a video this morning talking about, we could certainly drift down into, say, March, when the next daily, weekly cycle low is. But, I'm not seeing that at this point. We're still in a rising parallel channel. And on Bitcoin, starting to roll over, though, on our trend strength indicator. This is a sell signal. As soon as the TSI, our trend strength signal, goes below 80 right here, this is usually never you want to be buying here. This is a sell signal, especially when in conjunction with a bearish early reversal indicator. By the way, these are our market top signals that allowed us to get out of the market at the exact top. I was telling people to get out in November of 2021. So if we were to go back in time, you can see that right here, the bearish early reversal indicator, that red arrow on the weekly time frame, a bearish engulfing candle, and bearish TSI signal and RSI bearish divergence. So we'll certainly be watching for the confluence of these for the top. That'll be the market top. We'll be out, no emotion. That'll be it. We will be trying to get out at projected areas, and I'll show you that study in a minute. Those of you that haven't seen that before have a good idea where things will top out here, but you never know. And certainly for that market top signal, we saw a mini one right here with that bearish ERI, bearish engulfing candle, TSI, RSI, and then we had that 20% drawdown. So the good news is, guys, we're not in bad shape. You know, this is a little bit of noise and Bitcoin retesting as support. We like to see, you know, it broke up, got up a high as 109K, came back to retest the 100K as support, which it's doing right here on this weekly time frame. And so that is a good thing. If we were to look at a monthly chart, let me just pull it up on my other, you know, on the monthly time frame on Bitcoin, bullish engulfing candle. So we can take a quick look at that. You know, all in all, it's not looking too bad. Nice big bullish candle. We've got a couple days left in January. So with the wick coming down here, very bullish. So I think I think old Arthur Hayes might be wrong. I have been saying we push up into March, end of February, and then have a sell-off. So we're in alignment there. He might be trying to front run that. But as of now, February is looking pretty strong to me at this particular point. Now we have to see kind of where things settle out here. How many days do we have left? We have 3 days left. We have FOMC, of course, tomorrow too. They're not likely to raise rates or drop rates, but it's always in the comments. And you know, Powell is no friend of Trump's, so he, especially since Trump asked him to resign. So you know, could he kind of throw another turd in the punch bowl there? We don't know. And so I would advise caution and be careful going into tomorrow and not going heavily long. But with especially with these sell order blocks up ahead, you know, one thing we really learned is, and especially too on the 1 hour, 4 hour, is that these sell blocks typically do contain price. I mean, this sell off here was not a surprise if we were watching this carefully as we pushed up and got below these sell blocks here. And on the 1 hour up here, of course, on the 108, so strong sell pressure. Clearly, that would have been a good place to take some profits and maybe go short. And then along here, these patterns, when price goes sideways, 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 and can't break a sell barrier, typically it'll just dump with, you know, when the buyers are exhausted. And we saw that in confluence here, you know, over the last 2 days of trading sessions. So do watch these buy blocks and buy, you know, go get the trading signals for no other reason, just to have those. I mean, if you're new to charting, just having these areas alone is worth its weight in gold. I was buying Solana all through its sell blocks down here and nearly doubled my IRA holdings doing that by buying low, selling high. So you can't put a price on these things, you guys. Invest in your tools and invest in having these tools. If you're just using MACD and the standard RSIs, mark my words, you're competing against people with superior signals like us. And is it worth it to you? One bad trade could certainly pay for those over and over again. Let's see. So basically, looking at this, we could take a quick look around. I want to look at total market cap. You know, well, just coming back to Bitcoin, you know, from here, I would suggest we push strongly higher out of this range. Could we go to 140, 120? Hard to say. This is a big question mark, but we know that when price moves, it moves quickly. So at this point, I would suggest having some allocation to Bitcoin and know when you want to add into it. And it looks like it's coming into strength here. And I have some powder dry for in case we do drop down, but we look at how we held right at the 50-day EMA, exponential moving average, right down here, and we're sort of bouncing out of it. But let me pull up volume. I'm not sure my volume's on here. kind of a high volume yesterday. It's going to be quiet today based on getting ahead of the FOMC. Now, you do notice that I just turned on my multi-time frame radar, which showing mostly bullish signals, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. This we designed in the after the 2021 crash because we wanted to give everybody a sort of multi-time frame radar to know when it's safe to get into markets and also when you should get out. So if these are all red, that radar was all red back in that November 2021 timeframe, December. So early signal to get out of the markets. Right now, we're mostly green. So what I'm going to be watching here is for this to go all green. Green is go. And this is a good way to look at this particular whatever chart you're on. And you can also modify these under settings so that if you wanted to do it for shorter time frames, sometimes on my 1 hour, 4 hour charts, I'll have different settings on my radar for swing trading. So let's see, where is this here? I guess I don't have these turned on here. Here we go. Basically, out 4 hour daily, weekly, monthly. So that would be more for swing trading, day trading. But at any rate, so you can see that mostly green on the multi-time frame radar, looking to it's building some bullish structure here. One thing we haven't looked at that, which is still a bonus in the M3 Active Trader, is this screener too, where you can have up to 8 of your favorite coins and it'll show RSI, our RSI Pro and Signal line. So right now, interesting, none of these, the only ones that are bullish are Solana and Ondo. So these are just tools we've created to give you guys more at a glance look at what's going on. This is currently a bonus in the Crypto Mastery Pro signals, and which there are 10 of. So one, there's the rocket. I'll show you guys the rocket. That is a pattern that usually shoots up in the sky for some quick profits and then comes back down, pulls back down to earth like a bottle rocket. The crypto screener, which I was just sharing with you and showing you, so you can monitor your top 8 coins that you want to look at a glance. Are they bullish? Are they bearish? Are they inconclusive? The ERI Pro, the Trend Pro, the TSI Pro we've been talking about, the order block detector, where are the major buyers lining up, our RSI showing bullish, bearish divergence. And of course, we'll look at our Bollinger Bands. If you're using Bollinger Bands off the shelf, you're using them wrong. The settings are incorrect. They don't work well for crypto. Ours is modified to work perfectly well with crypto. And of course, our signal line there. So with these 3 in confluence, if they're all green, it's bullish. If they're all red, it's bearish. Makes identifying winning trades easy, especially again with the trade success checklist. So you're giving yourself a score where you can start adding to your trades. And again, anything over 3 or 4 should be adding to that trade. And some of these setups are just, they're not part of our indicators. And things like, is it above the 2150-day EMA? Yes, it is. Boom. You have another point on the trade success checklist. Do we have buy blocks like we looked at before? And things like rockets and the Bollinger Bands. So that's what this class is here. We're to teach you all these things. Here's that radar again. If it were all green, we'd give it a checkbox. And I'm also going to show you the average true range. We don't always show you that. That's great on the 4-hour chart, especially with Bitcoin, for catching an early entry to get back in these markets. So I know it's a lot to take in. There is no such thing as a single indicator or signal. It is really more about confluence. So that's why we give you all these tools, but certainly you can toggle these on and off. So at a glance, I'm just going to say, all right, well, what looks good today? I've got Ondo, which was one of my recommendations last week, and Sol. So Ondo has been trying to get back above. You can see, though, strong sell pressure right at this $1.50 range with Ondo. And so I'll turn off the screener here so we can see this a little bit better. So the question is, should you be buying Ondo here? The answer is probably not based on this. I did buy some on this candle here. It does seem to be rejecting. I'm watching this. I'll buy more as it goes above $1.50. But my stop losses, if it starts breaking down below the 21 and 50-day EMAs, then I'll probably want to be getting out. These sell blocks do tend to sell off price, so I would rather be buying into the buy zones. And so, this is a bullish engulfing candle. I might take some profits on this just to kind of lighten my position just for that reason alone. So if you're saying if I just was going to use one signal, one indicator alone, I would use these buy and sell blocks. And so I'm trying to get in front of this a little bit because I do like the DeFi space. And there's another one in the finance space that we recommended recently in our Retire Rich program and M3. But anyway, I just want to keep an eye on the screener is showing is bullish on the RSI and signal. The other one that was showing bullish was Solana. So taking a look at Sol. So where are we with Sol? It's in a DCA buy zone that stands for dollar cost average. I do like it here. Prior resistance around 218. Resistance through here, now flipping as support, came back and look at that. I took off my buy limit order, which was at $222. So guys, some of the best trades are when you set low ball buy orders, and especially in these buy blocks or at prior support levels, and on any fear or sell-offs, they can come down and get filled and immediately bounce. So I blew it because we ran up to 300 on that Trump meme coin, and I was buying in here. I sold a bunch at 245, and it came back, and I've been buying in this range here. So I am buying Solana in this range, but I sure would have liked to have bought some more around 222 because it's up to 235. All right, and again, on our screener here, kind of takes the guesswork out of things. Solana and Ondo looking pretty good on there, so I would confirm it. The problem is with Solana and these can be inconclusive, is we have the trend strength indicator rolling over. So this is why I would not be buying more Sol. And our signal line, these are based on different indicators. Some incorporate things like MACD, RSI into them, but essentially looking for green is bullish trend, red is bearish trend. So Solana probably going to pull back a little bit more, may come back down to that 220 level. So I may actually put another buy limit order there and look for that to hold. But again, FOMC tomorrow, anything could happen. But in the overall scheme of things, in a nice upward trending parallel channel, if we look at a weekly here, what do we see? Well, we had a bullish ERI on the weekly time frame. You guys think of the weekly time frame as your sort of the bigger momentum at like a cruise ship. So it's harder to turn, but once it turns, it's got a lot of momentum in that direction, that weekly chart. Whereas the daily chart is more like a sailboat. It can turn, it's just got to take those wider turns, still faster than on a cruise ship. Whereas the 4 hour is like a speedboat and the 1 hour is like a jet ski. You can turn on a dime. So anyway, Solana, I think it's just resting here. It's kind of like firmly closed above 250. I think it could easily go to 1,000 this cycle, 750 at least. So that would be a 3x on Sol, and as one of my larger holdings in my IRA. So let's talk about ETH. I won't go through a lot of these altcoins, mostly down in red. Which will do as Bitcoin bleeds. So let's see if we can come up with any opportunities. ETH here, I've had this black squiggle on here for a while now, and on this weekly time frame. So far, it's playing out and has come down as holding 3,000. And so the question is, does it rally? We can see lots of sell pressure on ETH. And for at 3,800 and up here around 4,500. So it's going to take a while for ETH to get going, but once it does break into price discovery, I think it's off to the races potentially. Excuse me, but it's going to be a while. ETH, the narrative's just not quite there yet. The gas fees are high. They're not participating in the meme coin mania like Solana is. Sol has really dominated that space, and a lot of the money that has hurt the alts because the money's flowing out of the altcoins into meme coins, as we know. So ETH just not looking terribly good here. I would want to kind of wait and see. Now, it is coming down into a buy block if you like ETH for longer term. If you can put your buy limit orders at the midpoint of these buy blocks, this is visualizing where the limit buy orders are on the books. So on Coinbase, so the midpoint, generally that sweet spot. See how ETH yesterday came right down to that 3,020, that midpoint, and bounced right out of that. So if you like ETH, I would be putting buy limit orders right in this buy block here. We're on the $3,000 level. However, you'd be looking to sell around 3,600. So it's kind of in a trading range and a downtrending trend channel. So any questions, you guys? Just to skim through this, and you guys want to look at any coins, let's jump over while waiting to hear from you guys on take a look at the dynamic average true range. This is a great one, especially on Bitcoin, for knowing when the sentiment's changed. So let's do this. I'll just move the 1 hour kind of out of the way. The ATR can also be used as a dynamic stop loss. So do you see how it goes enter and exits? Let me turn off the order block detector and I'll just show you the ETR here. So basically without it, it's hard to see, hard to know what's really going on here. The average true range, when it gives you an entry zone like down here, that was a good signal that yesterday that sell-off had subsided and it was time to get bullish again. Sometimes there's some chop in the mid back and forth. It works very well with the order block detector, though. We see how on the 4 hour we saw a Bitcoin dump down in this 90 or 89K region and into the buy block right at 90K rather, and then a couple of 4 hour coins, sorry, candles in. Then we went entry mode, and then we had the 21 and 50 cross to the upside. So this was a good sign that this thing would recover, and it did. Right now, it's kind of in the sideways chop in exit mode. But if you're a swing trader and you want to use this, it's a good tool to do that. If you were using it as a 1 hour for a short, you could have gone short back in this range. And also, as far as covering the short, let me put back on the ATR here, basically. So in this region here, when it went to exit, great short right there from a sell block exit on the dynamic ATR, and then to cover that short right in this buy block would have been ideal. But when it went back to entry mode as a dynamic stop loss, you could have also done that. So these tools, as with anything, take a little time to master, but you can really catch some big, meaningful inflection points on this 4 hour, especially after a large move or a range bound. So, if we go back in time, all the way back here, so September, then when this finally went into entry mode and double tested the support level, that was the beginning of a massive rally in Bitcoin, kind of in and out on the 4 hour chart. But anyway, you're certainly tradable if you guys want to swing trade these things with the ATR. It's a great tool to do that, or as confluence with what you're already seeing. So let's see. Chaith saying, can you analyze FET as the conversion to ASI? Open as okay. Yeah, so it depends. I haven't followed that so much. The conversion on Coinbase was going to be manual. I'm pretty sure that's happened, Chaith, and hopefully I'm saying your name right. So let's jump down into this here under Fetch Coin. It certainly sold off. To be fair, I would suggest, because I did sell my Fetch Coin over the weekend, and the reason is just weak market charting here and the sell block. So right there, hopefully you have these. Is it safe to re-enter? It's safe to buy, but they changed the name to artificial superintelligence, but this is a very ugly chart, and it's all red on the radar. So I don't see any buy blocks on Fetch Coin. And so in terms of dollar cost averaging, we can kind of look for redrawing the parallel channel, but it's lost its parallel channel. And if I take this Fibonacci off, Fetch Coin, not sure why it bled out. These altcoins have just been getting murdered here with everything else. So, pardon me, what I would be looking for are oversold signals turning green. If we start seeing the TSI turning green and ideally the RSI, and there was some bullish divergence here, but that's not enough. And all red on the radar, not a good signal. So, unfortunately, so not to say I told you so, because I didn't really announce it. I just sold my FET once it started breaking this level. That was it for me. I sold this over the weekend, And when in doubt, stay out. So we had this parallel channel to the upside. We had some bullish signals on the ERI, but when you see a sell block, and let me just zoom in on this, lower highs, this was weakness and there was sell pressure. So really need to be using these buy and sell blocks. Currently, don't see any buying going on here. This probably goes lower. And it's, if you've been holding it, may want to sell some for taking partial losses. Probably it'll come back down into this region around 80 cents. Maybe it bounces early. But there's the buyers, so there's no buyers in here. So that's the name of the game. And certainly having buy orders down in this region would make sense. Let me just see on the weekly chart if there's any stronger, any other buy orders. Fetch coin just not looking very good. I would if the weekly candle closes here, this is likely to keep coming down to 85 cents or so. So it's selling part of the position to buy back lower would make sense. Tanya asking to the charts work for meme coins. Yeah, they do, as long as they're on TradingView, Tanya. And so a good question. I'll get to that in a minute because I have some friends-ish that are full-time meme coin traders and they are playing around with the signals for that. But anyway, I wanted to just finish this. So for Fetchcoin, yeah, sorry, I think it's why the signals are so important to have and not second guess them. That sell block here and lower highs, this just right in here was enough for me to say, I don't like this, I'm out. And normally I'll keep a little bit of moon bag, but I sold all my fetch. I didn't cause this dump, by the way. This could have been, this is probably related to the deep fake. What is it? Deep seek. It's all starting to sound the same, but if artificial super intelligence, yeah, I mean, this would be bad if DeepSeek kind of has a free open source version of this, then where does that leave this the ASI token? That's what's going on here. So unfortunately, news driven, probably at some point it'll bottom out and recover. So there's mixed feelings on whether the deep seek is really a big deal or not. And Mike, my business partner, he was posting in Retire Rich and our M3 Active Trader chat yesterday about why it's not really a big deal. Basically suggesting that if DeepMind, so many of these, if DeepSeek could create so much value out of their tech and make it open source, then so could open AI, but certainly heating up. A lot of money being poured into AI and competition wise. So I don't know what more I can add to this, but this, will it hold at a dollar? A dollar is usually a nice little round number. It could. Do you want to start dollar cost averaging? I think this will blow over. Markets tend to overreact. But if you were to buy more, these dollar round numbers is usually a good place to sort of dollar cost average. It did hold at a dollar back here. And so in the long, long run, also dollar held back in this range. And if you put a buy limit orders in, it's certainly oversold. It's getting dumped pretty hard. And if we go over to 1 hour, 4 hour, let's see what does that look like on this. See, we can look at the whole sector if we want to, but just so I'm not seeing any buy orders on Fetch until around 92 cents. You could see this dump. If I were going to buy more, Chaith, I'd put a buy limit order in around 93 cents, maybe 95 cents to get it early. But this thing doesn't look very strong. It's all red on the radars, and so for obvious reasons. So, just news, very much a news-driven market. Let's see. Anything else looking good? Tanya asking about meme coins. Yeah, let's go down here. It depends on the meme coin. And so we could take a look at Bobo here. Bobo in a buy zone, in a buy orders. If these things are on major exchanges, they do work, but you need to be able to pull up a chart. So if you're trying to trade the Trump coin on the DEX screener, if it's not on TradingView, then the signals won't work currently. We're working on something really cool though, that would have auto trader implications for our indicators, and it would be on a different trading platform, but we're working out and going to be opening for beta soon on that. So anyway, here's Bread Token, of course, the best name of any meme coin ever created because it's my name. But don't go out and buy this. I would suggest, Bread Token. Look, these have zero utility. They're just pure speculation. And I have a bunch of this. I'm just kind of holding on to it. Would I buy more of these buy blocks? Certainly would. This has proven to be a good buy zone. However, have we, is this a double top? Has the market top in? And all these questions that come into play. I would not be buying anything with an all red on the radar. What I would be looking for is another ERI. So the early reversal indicator. Guys, let me explain why this is so powerful. The ERI, it's we didn't know why it worked when I noticed the pattern, but essentially this is showing programmatic buying and selling because for the ERI to trigger, you see these green vertical lines? These are the bullish ERIs. It basically says the oscillator has come down below 3, preferably 0, and gone back above 20 in 3 time periods. 1, 2, 3. Now, why is that important? Because it takes a certain amount of velocity, which and money flow to move that price that fast. And it's all relative. So obviously, Brett token would take less than Bitcoin, but it's basically what I believe we're seeing is programmatic institutional buying and selling, whale buying, market maker buying, whatever that is, but not wishy-washy retail. All right, so that is where it's extremely oversold and it moves quickly with momentum back above 20. Similarly, on the bearish side, you see these vertical red lines is the bearish early reversal indicator, hence the name, where it goes up to around 100 or at least above 97 and back below 80. These are pretty standard zones for most oscillators, MACD, stochastic, RSI. So I didn't invent that, but again, it's that time period. And we overlaid a Keltner channel in there as well. So is it by itself a strong buy sell signal? Not necessarily, but when layered in and confirming with the trend strength indicator, very powerful. Okay, so anyway, so on meme coins, if there's a meme coin you want me to look at, I can. I don't imagine that any of the memes look very good here. We can look at Pepe, but look, these have just bled out here and over the last week or so because why? They have zero utility. These are very risky assets, and the other clues to just not be in this is when it lost this 50 period exponential moving average. We had a bearish early reversal indicator here and confirming with the trend strength indicator here. So if you were in Pepe using our signals, you would have been out right in here. No questions asked, no emotion. All red on the radar here. Would not be buying. I would not be buying anything in this that we're looking at right now, trying to catch a falling knife. And so, total market cap sort of losing strength. Guys, these buy sell blocks work on total market cap also. This is the overall barometer of the entire market. So, looking back at our weekly time frame, when we called the market top last time, when I called the market top last time, it wasn't because Bitcoin hit a certain price. It was because the total market cap hit $3 trillion. That was the market top. Programmatic selling kicked in. It's almost that easy, but look at this, $3 trillion on the dot. So we saw the footsteps of elephants, our early reversal indicator. This took a lot of selling, programmatic selling here, bearish engulfing candle. Okay, and then what else? We also had, you guessed it, our trend strength indicator went red. You can see that here and below 80. Our signal line went red. You can see all of these. When these align, you don't second guess them. You get out. Now, granted, by this point, the market had already come down a bit. So on the sell side into momentum, this is our confirmation market top is in. And then back in here. What we'll also be doing on the way up, though, as we'll be looking at These areas of interest. These are studies we cover in the M3 Active Trader, the exact same study that called the market top of the last cycle here based on this Fibonacci. Doing it going forward gives us 150K, 200K Bitcoin, but not without probably a good 30-40% correction in the middle there, and maybe deeper. But anyway, yeah, even Arthur Hayes, who's calling for a 70K Bitcoin, I don't know. I actually look at this. I have it on here as a possible. So my red deep deep correction would be this down into potentially around 75K. We could see that. We have seen 50% corrections in Bitcoin on bull markets, certainly 30% though. If we do push up to around 150K, I think we could have an explosive February, you guys. And to get right up into that 150K region and then reject, maybe come back down 115K-ish, that would be healthy. And then propel us up later in the year to that 200K area. But that would be about it. That's about the upside, I think, on that. And of course, if you want to follow along, we have our 11 reasons why these things could happen that we've been following. These has been my path to 150K, 200K Bitcoin. We've been kind of following since last year in the M3 Active Trader. So, anywho, let's take a quick look at the USDT dominance chart here, inversely related. So, kind of still inching along here. Got a little worried a couple days ago that dominance, tether dominance had spiked, but it rejected at that 21-day EMA. So we're still in bullish mode, you guys. Money not flowing into Tether. Where we have to be worried is when we start seeing Tether dominance breaking up and above this area, meaning money flowing into Tether out of Bitcoin, Sol, and Ethereum, and out of alts. I do think this May region, incidentally, that's what Arthur Hayes is saying too. April, May, having a deeper correction. Was it Hayes? Maybe he said it earlier. I don't know. Somebody else has agreed with me, but I've had this on here for a month now. And so as money flows out of crypto and into stable coins, this would be sort of a bear market correction. But again, coming out of that into the summer, I think we have this secondary big rally to that 150K, 200K Bitcoin, and then it's over. Then the bear market comes, money flows into stables, and so this is this inverse study here, and we usually cover that in more detail on the M3 class. So I'm not going to look at retardio, Tanya. We can look at it on it's our signals are not going to pull up retardio because it's that's going to be on Deck Screener. I don't think retardio is even on TradingView. Let's see. Opinion on Trump coin. I am hearing 80% is owned by a Trump family, so any time dump can happen. Yeah, by the family and those close to the family. Look, I think it's a black stain on the administration. There's a law. So it's interesting they did that right before inauguration to avoid being subject to the law. And a friend of mine had sent it to me that sort of some unjust enrichment kind of law, an active president. That the only way out of that really for good faith and a PR win would be to have donated the profits to the Treasury and not the Trump Treasury. So that I don't know that I don't think that bodes well. It doesn't. It's not a good look because it also suggests that's the kind of stuff you see at a market top, and that's what Arthur Hayes was saying in his article that reminiscent of a market top. Why they would have done that? That just it's not a good look. I'm a proponent of the party, but just why? There's nobody wins like that's it's going to come down. People lost money on that, and on the first. Anyway, let's not get into that. What is my opinion on Trump coin? I wouldn't be buying it at this point. I didn't buy any. I don't have any. Let's see. Is it even on? It's on Binance. Yeah. So I mean, look at this. It lost half its value already. Now that being said, let's be traders. I mean, the narrative is strong. All red on the radar. It has a bullish ERI, early reversal indicator. It doesn't have enough data to give us anything else unless we go down to 1 hour, 4 hour. And so, you certainly can trade it on this on a 1 hour, 4 hour, all red on the radar. The problem is, let's just be honest, a bunch of people bought it here at $45 on a bounce that are holding it and they're like saying, shit, if it just comes back to break even, I'm out. This is called overhead supply. These are old terms, old school terms, but overhead supply. Look at all of these people who bought in here who had their, what, handed to them, and they're saying there, thanks, Mr. Trump, for this. They don't know any better. They're going to be selling. There's a lot of sell pressure up in here. I would not be buying this. And could that change if you start to see these signals? But I'd stay away from it, to be honest. Yeah, the crypto version of Trump media stock. Yeah, or Trump steaks. And anyway, I don't know. I'm not a hater. I'm just not a proponent. I'm at this point sort of neutral and wanting the markets to go up. So anyway, let's see. Look, Retardio. I can't believe I'm even gonna pull it up here. Do we have Retardio USD? It's on crypto exchange. I mean, this is not something should be buying for obvious reasons. All red on the radar. I mean, the only thing is it could be the seller's probably exhausted, but there's no reason for this to go up. The just from a pure charting point of view, and I know our old friend Scott Phillips was a proponent of the Retardio project. Does not look it has done very well. And it's in a downward trending parallel channel. I don't see any reason to buy this or even consider it. I mean, if you own it, it's a lottery ticket in the long, long term. All right, let's see. Well, one thing we haven't done in a while, you guys, let's go over to the crypto pairs screener and see if there's anything moving and shaking. Or sometimes you can find some good opportunities here and that work well with our signals here. Let me do one thing because just looking at Retardio makes me cringe, feel my IQ dripping as I look at it. Because who would buy something called Retardio? And except for maybe Scott Phillips. So he's a smart guy. It's a surprise he got behind that thing. XRP actually looks pretty good. I mean, look at that bullish ERI, but overbought. I don't like this. This when in doubt, stay out. I would wait. Let the trade come to you. How I would have buy limits or alerts rather at above this $3.30 range to potentially. I would play the momentum on XRP. But I'm not like a huge long-term believer necessarily. I just we've had these discussions in M3 Active Trader for various reasons. But I will trade sheep and goats if the chart looks good. There you go. Just not Retardio. Sorry, guys. All right. So let me come down here and do the filter here. They typically make this a lot more complicated than it should be. So let's see. The filters. It's been a long time since I've been in here. Let's see. How do you do this again? I'm going to do the pairs screener, and we're going to do percentage change. One of these lets you adjust. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So percentage change exchanges. I don't need to be on high, low, price. I do want technical rating. Yes. Volume. No. I don't need all these. Okay. And then as far as the exchanges, we'll jump over and only look at certain exchanges just to kind of filter out the noise. And technicals, where is this? It's just too much information in this screen, or that's why we stopped getting into it. Technical rating changed. So where is there's a way. I'm just not going to do this anymore because you know what? This is just too many choices, and the confused mind says no. Let's just look at top gainers, and where technical rating. I'm going to just sort technical rating strong buy. Okay, let's take a look. Been here. Speaking of official Trump, strong sell. There you go. Imagine that. Um, all right, GPS is a GPS spot trading pair on Phoenix. So this is on a daily chart here. It's but look, these have already pumped. All red on the radar. I'd stay away from them. Come Cam Network. Probably what I'll do, if we want you guys, I'll go over to I have a speculative degen list of coins that we've looked at in the past because I don't imagine much is bullish today, and you don't want to be looking for bullish opportunities in a big bearish red day. So, sometimes it's worth going into strong sell and looking for things ready to bounce. But tell you what, I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel like good use of time. What we'll do here is how do we get out of this thing? It's just this thing's kind of an abomination. This will move it out of the way. Okay, let's do this. Let's go over to I'm going to go over to a different list here. We're just over the hour, so I'll do a little bit more. I'll pull up a different list of coins here, and we have our Crypto Mastery Pro layout. You guys, Hype, you want to look at Hype? Okay, so Hyperliquid. By the way, I'm going to share some intel tomorrow in M3 class. What is likely to be a Hyperliquid killer and a superior DEX that is under the radar still, but based on a very strong chain on the Polkadot chain, and it would be a good time to be starting to accumulate that. So we're going to talk about that in M3 tomorrow. Remind me, you guys. All right, so we'll look at Hype, which has been hyped up quite a bit lately, had a good run, but let's see, it's not doing a whole lot here. It's just kind of going sideways. This is the futures, of course. It's not easy to find. You can get it on MEXC if you have that. By the way, you can get KYC on MEXC using the Palau ID. Some of our members have done that. All right, Hyperliquid. Let's just go straight to the spot. It had its run, you guys. It sort of looks to me like a Fibonacci retracement, and it's resting. Yeah, so it's come back to its 618. You do these long enough, you can eyeball these. Look, it came right back down to its 618 right in here. It's just kind of going sideways. I don't see a bullish or bearish pattern. Volume is non-existent, really. It's not really. We need volume to kind of gauge whether this thing is what it's doing. It's slowly inching higher on the daily, on the TSI. On a weekly time frame, it looks a little better. Okay, weekly time frame, bullish ERI. We don't have enough data over here on these. Yes, you need KYC for MEXC if you're in the United States, Tanya. And if you're not in the United States, then maybe you don't need that. You probably don't need that. So anyway, that's Hyperliquid. Let's just jump around a little bit here. I'm going to take a quick peek over at something there. All right, now disregard that. Let's look at my speculative degen coin list. And this is something usually we cover in our M3 Active Trader. Look at this Neon up 17%. Don't chase these, you guys. These are pump and dumps, pumped right up to the 21-day EMA. Now, the one thing that's bullish, I did want to get to some of our signals on Neon. Okay, it's on Bybit, so these are leverage pumped, but we have the early reversal indicator. So if you guys wanted some coins to maybe start playing around with, you have an ERI. We have a bullish engulfing candle here. Okay, we have our TSI green, going green, but not above 20 yet. So the great thing about our indicators is you can put alerts on these. So what I like to do is do it crossing up above 20, because that's my confirmation trigger. And then that's when I'll put in my notes here to buy it. Or put buy question mark. Again, on the trade success checklist, let me just refresh this so we can start over. And you want to have at least a 2 or a 3. So if you have an ERI, great, you've got a score of 1. Is that enough? No, it's not enough. You want to have at least a 2. These two, sometimes I'll start getting in, but it's got to be above the 20 line, the trend strength indicator. These are different algos. Again, I know some of you don't know Joe. One of the smartest traders that I know. He's a programmer, a quant engineer, and a trader, full-time trader. He makes a living trading the S&P. Keep that in mind. It's very rare to find full-time traders that don't starve to death, and programmers. We've got some cool stuff coming out, but for now, this is, that's a whole nother, this is what you want to have right now for this market. Because when things start to happen fast and furious, you're going to want to have these signals and be getting ready to get in and take all the emotion out of it. So these two, now we have a trade success score of 2. If I'm using neon as an example, not quite though. This isn't above, it's not there yet. So I would take that off. Bullish engulfing candle is green, so that's still a score of 2. We have our signal line going green. Again, these are based on different oscillators, and confluence is the name of the game. On the RSI, not really showing much, no bullish divergence yet. We could be putting that in, but for God's sakes, when we get all 4 of these, and you get a score of 4, you want to be entering that trade. Now, the only caveat to this, which I don't love, is that it's in a downtrending parallel channel and we have sell order blocks above. Why? Because you have that overhead supply. All right, let's try this again. Why won't it? Interesting. My parallel channels are not working for some reason. Now it wants to work, kind of, but that's not how I want to draw it. See that downward trending parallel channel and sell order blocks. When in doubt, stay out. So this to me negates the trade. There's all this sell pressure up above. So the markets overall need to rebuild quite a bit of structure here and get out of these and start clearing these upward sell areas. These are not coins I would be, if you were going to buy anything, we have bullish divergence here on this RSI, so that is bullish on Osana, and we have a bullish ERI, but we only have 2. Certainly, you'd want to be selling into these sell blocks up top. Jupiter is another one. Jupiter's been fairly strong, but these are not worth it. Okay, they're not worth going in. This will sell off again. I would buy rejections off of these and to catch the breakthroughs. But these the altcoins, just they're not strong right now, and they're not going to be strong for a while. I think Bitcoin dominance probably runs, and money stays in meme coins and Bitcoin, maybe Sol, but it's going to be a while before we get an alt season, if we get one. And that's a big if. All this money has flown out of the bigger altcoins. So I don't know, you guys. I'm kind of slowly eyeing this burn unit metaverse, but so it's just not quite there yet, and I don't think there's a whole lot to get excited about right now. I did see Fox token was up, but it's just these things they sell off, and you can see that thing sold off quite a bit. High volume, but these can be manipulated on these other margin exchanges. So I'm just kind of looking around to see if anything looks interesting, and nothing really does. Cornelia, AVAX, yeah, sure. Let's look at AVAX. I haven't looked at AVAX in a while. And so it's all red on the radar. It's not bullish here. I wouldn't be buying it. It would be, if you're holding it, I wouldn't necessarily sell. But let's open this up here. We're oversold for sure, on these. Here's the thing. You can make very good money in these markets, swing trading. That's where we have the edge. That's what the M3 active trader is all about. So for sure, you want to go over and read about this. This is where we have the edge, and where I've been trading 25 years. The big institutions in Wales, they move markets. You want to kind of, our edge is to be more nimble and get in and out ahead of them. We don't want to day trade. We don't want to try to buy and hold forever. Our swing trading is the advantage. So what I'm getting at is you could make profits on these by buying oversold, waiting for these signals to turn green, and riding the oscillations, even if it's just something like this, where we had the ERI from here and then up to the sell area there. Base hits, you guys. I know everyone wants to get rich and wake up one morning and they're wealthy. It's not happening that way. Everyone wants that, which makes it less and less likely anyone's going to have it. Okay, so if you can catch 20% moves over and over again, That's the name of the game. And these are signals are designed to combat FOMO. Because if you didn't have the order block detector on right here, all right, and you would probably have been like in super FOMO mode. Like, look at this, it's gonna break out. We're going higher, AVAX to the moon, and then boom, ERI, right, bearish. And but the other thing that we could have, if you'd had your order block detector on, taking profits in those regions is the name of the game. Either half or two-thirds. Doesn't mean to sell the whole position, but certainly taking profits off the table because, right there would have been out of AVAX and avoided all this sort of bloodiness. So where are we now? I think AVAX probably comes down around 3150, and because that's a prior support resistance area, and then slowly kind of churns higher and turns up higher. I wouldn't necessarily, I would probably sell some of it here with the intent of buying it back lower. As a stop loss though, I'd probably have a stop loss here at like $30 as if it loses 30, then it's probably heading down in the 20s. And it might. I mean, the problem is these altcoins, the money's not there. There's not enough money in the markets to support all these altcoins and meme coins and Bitcoins and so just judging from the chart, let's take a look at the weekly time frame. Also, is still red on the radar. I mean, it's not dead. I think in the, maybe February it recovers, but I would sell it at $50. Lots of sell pressure on AVAX in the $50 range. Do not second guess these. We have second guessed these many times in the last months and regretted it because we got caught up in FOMO, and I will not do that again. I have ironclad rules. Respect the sell zones. I have it on many of my charts. So again, guys, not to sound self-serving, you need these tools. Go get the crypto mastery signals and learn them. One trade will more than pay for them. It's $497 for the year. And because we're lazy and haven't had time to change it, it's still a lifetime offer on here that's going up as soon as I can get my team to fix it. And for some reason, it's taking forever for that page to load. Maybe they're fixing it right now, and you guys want to go make sure to get your hands on those. There, it took a while to load. Yeah, you can still squeeze in the lifetime offer, guys. That's going to go up. It's going to go to $2,000. In fact, I'm screenshotting it. I'm sending it to Myrene. We've been bad at not doing that because it's been the holidays and busy. Because this is a no-brainer at 2,000 on the lifetime, and the yearly will be going up as well. Guys, because we keep adding indicators on it. We keep adding to it to make it better, to give you more tools. And so anyway, you're not here to be another selling you stuff kind of a person here, but everyone here who uses these loves those. If you guys are in M3 and you like the indicators, drop it in the chat. A lot of new faces and names in here. Trust me, you need to have those in your arsenal and learn how to use them. That's what these Tuesday classes are for. So let's see. What else do we want to look at? I guess we're out of time, you guys. I could stick around for one or two more. I think really what I'd be waiting, it's a good waiting time to wait this out for the next week or so and see if we can bottom out, see some strength coming in. And, let's just take a look at the AI coins because I imagine these have mostly been negatively affected by the deep state thing, deep seek, whatever you call it. AIOZ still holding, but I was waiting for that head and shoulders to break down. Unfortunately, okay, so what I was going to say is, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of movement. I am watching for these, though. One of my favorite things to do with these indicators is on the trend strength indicator is to add alerts on this crossing up over 20, and I'll even do it once per bar close. I want to know every time AIOZ crosses up above 20 because these are buy signals. These are buy confirmation signals. And I do like these projects, just not right now. But when it goes above there, we can see that typically will follow through and follow through. And those are those swing trades. See that ERI, typically if the TSI is going above 20, so is the ERI. So AIOZ back in here, we caught that pump. And with the alignment here, ERI, TSI, Signal, and RSI Pro, nice little 20% pop into the sell zone. You can do very well in these markets. If you guys are kind of waiting around, kind of thinking it's going to explode at any minute and be like 2017, and all I have to do is wait this thing out and keep my head in the sand, this is not the same market, and I don't think that's the way to play it. So, that being said, I would not be buying any of these AIOZ. Probably going to break down here. I don't know. Green is not enough. It's got to be above that 20 line, showing positive momentum. Of course, all these AI coins getting just, why would these do well if China's new deep seed, what is it called? Deep Seek. I don't know why I'm having there's so many different things called deep in them. But these coins here have no earnings. These are going to get blown out. I wouldn't be buying. Here's Deep Brain. It's going to be a while before these things have any reason to invest in them. Okay. So, with the caveat A16Z, this is not related to the VC firm. They just named it A16Z on the hope that they would get bought by the famous Mark Andreessen A16Z venture firm. However, there are buy blocks here. If you have CoinEx, so what would I do here? Would I just run out and buy this? No, it's not enough. Remember your trade success checklist. Let me get rid of some of the noise on this. And so we have a buy block. That's almost enough for me. But I'd want to see this going green on this. So basically, a lot of your success comes in doing your homework during non-crazy peak times. When there's not much happening. So at alert, you guessed it, crossing up above 20, and that's when I want to know about this. And I'll, make sure to give yourself notes in here saying buy question mark. That would be a signal. All right, let me go check this out. And so A16C. So maybe, but look at all the red in this sector. Not a strong sector. Let's see. Jake Jackal I've traded in the past. It's on osmosis though. It's hard to find. So you know what, guys? There's not a whole lot going on out there, and I would not be trying to find forced trades that aren't there. If you guys want me to look at anything else, I will, and give you guys something to look for. We'll be kind of mostly waiting for the FOMC minutes tomorrow. So going back to my master list, well, let's take a look at DeFi. I need to beef up my DeFi list there. So I think I'll just maybe do that today. I beef up my DeFi list. I think DeFi is going to do well because they have earnings. They actually have, ways to make money. Like Aave's been on a tear. Finally, Aave profit taking. But guys, look at this. Imagine if you knew to sell in these red zones. Right in here. I mean, not rocket science. Where would I buy Aave? Around 265, right in this buy block. And if it keeps dropping, down around 230. This thing just got overextended. Okay, thank you, Dr. T. And yeah, so the Cornelius saying there's 36 million tokens in the market. Where's all the money going to come from? It's not going to come. It's not going to come, period. And all the meme coins and just this gambler. We've got to flush out this gambler mentality that people have. So I don't know, you guys. It's going to be kind of a slow grind this year. When it comes, it'll be fast and furious, and you want to be ready. You're going to want to have the skills and confidence and clarity of knowing when to get in using the signals, because they are there. I mean, these signals have done very well for us in the last couple of years, getting into the markets at just the right time. Generally, that September, October area when we were first getting into coins like Injective back in October 2023. And that went up 568% back right in here. So we were getting in our retire rich. We were buying Injective back in here Beautiful timing. Our signals alerted to this. And then again in October-ish, 2024, we got in. So, these have taken a break, obviously. Where would I be buying Injective? Down in the $15 range where there's support and just being patient. But you can see I have buy pullbacks on there. So, like in these ranges, potentially right in this range here. But I'm not buying anything if it's all red on the radar, or I'm waiting. I'm going to be waiting patiently for these to turn green. Guys, it's not that exciting, but that's when it's doing the tedious stuff over and over again. Over time will be the big difference. So anyway, that's all we have time for, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and make sure you have the indicators. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. You need these. And join M3. If you have any questions, go read this page. Excellent group in there. A lot of good, strong traders who are also contributing, and with healthy discussions. And you can see lots of good feedback. It's the biggest way to shortcut your success in these markets in M3 Active Trader. And so, of course, there's a members area and trainings. I do daily updates in there, and coin picks. And, we have cheat sheets, high probability candlestick patterns, dollar cost investing worksheets, interactive Google Docs, portfolio tracker, high probability trading patterns. If you're new to trading, you need immersion, and the best way to do that is with M3 Active Trader. And so anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Potentially. I'm not going to be doing these classes every week. The turnout's been somewhat slow, but we'll do them twice a month at least. And the best way to have me continue doing these is show up with your questions, and also buy the signals, because these are also for training you guys on how to use them and get your questions answered. All right, you guys, thanks so very much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.